Hi, I'm Jeffrey, and this is another top 10 horror movies that never had a sequel. In the horror genre, generally everything's got a sequel, but here's a few that never did, but they're still awesome. I'm going to start things off with everybody's favorite, My Bloody Valentine. Most people know this movie, and most people love this movie. It is great. It's I don't want to get too much into it because it's got a couple twists, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen the movie. But if you have seen it, you know how awesome it is. Set in a small town mining community, and a serial killer dresses as a miner and kills people on Valentine's Day. That's as much as I could tell you about it if you haven't seen it. But check it out if you haven't seen it. It's definitely a good one. Next up, Dead Silence. So the little ventriloquist puppet movie is very good. It's from the director of Saw, and it just kind of gets overlooked. I haven't even seen it on Blu-ray. As you can see, this is a HD. Definitely one to check out if you haven't seen it. Awesome. Dead Silence. Next one is a little bit strange that I put it on my list. It's one that I watch all the time. And it's still a horror movie, even though it probably fits more into the psychological thriller category, and that's Fear. With it stars Mark Wahlberg, Reese Witherspoon, and William Peterson from CSI, the original, of course. It's a very good movie. It's about Mark Wahlberg falls in love with Reese Witherspoon there, and he gets completely obsessed with her. And if you haven't seen it, I don't want to blow anything, like I say, but check it out. It's a really good movie. It's got a great soundtrack, a few songs from Bush on there from back in the 90s. Check it out. Fear. Next one, a lot of people know Adam Green from the Hatchet films, but I haven't seen too many people talk about this movie, and that's Frozen. This is the movie he made just before he made Hatchet 2, and it is really good. It's about three kids, two guys and a girl, getting stuck on a ski lift, and how are they going to survive, get down from the ski lift. So check it out. Frozen. Awesome. Highly recommended. Next one, Stephen King movie. It's kind of recent, but it's definitely in my favorites, and that's The Mist. Now, with that ending, if you have seen it, the ending, there's no way you could make a sequel to this movie, but it's pretty awesome. That's usually what people have a problem with, is the ending. It's grown on me with time. I just really think the thing's rock solid. Very good movie. Check it out if you haven't seen it. The Mist. Next one, Cabin in the Woods. Now, this movie, I've seen people, hate it and they love it. This is kind of I've talked about it before. It's kind of like this generation's answer to Scream. It's very aware of the tropes of horror movies and does it in a pretty clever way. Don't want to tell too much about it without ruining it for you, but it can get confusing when you watch it, not knowing what's going on. But I don't want to go into it too much because it could just ruin your enjoyment of the film. It's better to figure it out on your own. Cabin in the Woods. Highly recommended. Next one, and of course Stephen King comes up on here a few times. This time it's Stephen King with John Carpenter, Christine. This movie is fantastic, and thank goodness they never made a sequel to ruin it. Because a lot of times you see those sequels and it's just like, wow, now that was so stupid. Why did they have to sully the name with the sequel? This one is about a guy that falls in love with a car, that's a 1957 Plymouth Fury, fixes her up, and the car is alive, and goes around killing the bullies that were mean to him. It stars Keith Gordon and John Stockwell, and both of these guys have gone on to do directing. John Stockwell has directed movies such as Turistas, Into the Blue, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Blue Crush as well. I'll have to look at that one. I think he did that. I think so. And Keith Gordon, he's done a lot of television, most notably in Dexter. In fact, in season 4 of Dexter, you can see him in a picture from and in real life, but more so in the picture as he plays Kyle Butler, the guy that Dexter steals his identity to hide from the serial killer of the season. So, Christine. And I'm almost at the end. This one is another Stephen King one, of course. 1408. I love this movie. It's about John Cusack debunks, horror, ghost stories rather, haunted hotels and graveyards and things like that. And in this one, he goes to a room called 1408 that isn't haunted. It's just evil. I've talked about it before in my Stephen King top 10. And this one, it's on my top 10 of all movies that haven't had sequels, It's a great movie. Definitely check it out. But if you do buy if you do decide to buy it, don't buy the Blu-ray. Buy the DVD. The DVD has a different ending on it that I prefer. But, I may buy the DVD just because I don't care as much for the ending. I thought the other one was better. Fortunately. Next one. And I'm going to do a review on this, I promise. Said I was going to do it back in the day. And that's The Frighteners. Peter Jackson's fantastic horror comedy. It's if you're a Lord of the Rings fan and you'd like to see something else that Peter Jackson did that's not Lord of the Rings like the Hobbit movies are now, check this out. It's half horror, half fantasy. More so fantasy, than a horror comedy. It is just fantastic, phenomenal effects in it, for the time, and now they still hold up pretty well. Don't want to tell you too much about it if you haven't seen it, because this is a tough one to even to talk about without ruining it. This is actually has a director's cut and the theatrical cut in it. The director's cut is cool. It has a little bit more footage. Mostly character stuff and a few special effects things, but you can get by with the other one. But so this is definitely the addition to have. They also have it in DVD if you do not have a Blu-ray. Frighteners. And lastly, and I've done a review on this, so it was going to be on there. The horror comedy, Idle Hands. I love this movie. This is probably my number one. I watch it at least once a year. At least. Every year this one comes up in my Halloween movies to pull out, because it is set on Halloween. It stars Devon Sawa, Jessica Alba, Elden Henson, Seth Green, Vivica A. Fox. Great movie. About a kid who gets his hand possessed and his hand tries killing people. It's a very good movie. Check it out if you haven't seen it. And that is the last on my top 10 horror movies that did not have a sequel. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Whatever you thought was a great horror movie that never got messed over by a sequel, please leave it in the comments thread. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I will see you next time.